Hello and welcome to our Friday live stream with me, Dale Davies, the head of marketing at Explosion Ninja. Coming from you, not from my usual standing desk and flexibility in my Edinburgh office/living room, coming from my parents-in-law's place in Italy. So, words of the wise, the internet connection may be horrendous at times, so I might be dropping in and out, but do not fret if that happens. We do have Jess in the background ready to jump on, who will do an even better job than I am sure. Today, we're going to be covering SEO. So if you're not sure what SEO is, that's Search Engine Optimization. It's one of our core areas of expertise. And today I'm going to be joined by a fantastic SEO specialist called Ritu, who will be joining on screen in just a second. But before we get started with that, a bit of housekeeping. We are doing our regular giveaway of our book, How to Get to the Top of Google. This is filled with all of my notes about how to revise this for 2022. So you get a copy of this before it goes back to reprint. But if you want to get a copy of that, you just have to use the hashtag ask in the live chat here on YouTube. But if you are on YouTube or watching us from anywhere, I'd really appreciate it if you hit like down below if you start to enjoy what you hear today, or you can hit subscribe to make sure that you catch all of our future videos and live streams. And just to make sure you're guaranteed to see them all, really important that you hit that bell. Because I think it's less than 75% of the people who are subscribed actually subscribe via that bell. Really, very, very, very important. So please do hit that. Before we get started, though, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Today, I am in a thunderstorm-struck southern Italy. I'd love to know where you're watching from as well. I believe we're already getting a few comments coming through. All the questions are coming through as well. So, we will be answering questions throughout. So do keep them coming through. Anything SEO related when it comes to Google search, getting a website to the top of ranking, keep them coming in. But we have a happy Friday from Jess and Tortoise Property. We're watching from Peterborough, UK, a chilly Tokyo. Oh, sorry to hear that, Phil. In Mexico as well. Fantastic. It's either very, very early or very late. Very early in Mexico right now, I imagine. Sri Lanka. Fantastic. That's awesome. Where else have got people watching from today? I'm watching, joining, streaming from Alberobello, which is a lovely little town in southern Italy, filled with these little houses that look like cones. I suggest you search for Alberobello and see what they look like. It's a UNESCO site if you're into that kind of thing. Black Friday for the book. No Black Friday offer for the book, but you can always just enter the prize draw to get this copy if you want it, filled with my notes, or if you'd rather get access to it now, you can go to the comments, the description of this video where it says, get a copy of our book, and you get a PDF ebook copy right now. It's up to you. We got Deepesh in London. Lovely to see you, Deepesh. And thank you very much for commenting on my status update on LinkedIn about the 4th year anniversary of my stroke. I really appreciated that. It was very nice of you to say hi and appreciate that. We've also got Dublin as well. Fantastic. Lovely Dublin. We've got Shrewsbury as well. Got a bit of everything and a bit of everywhere. Fantastic. So it's time to commence with the questions and answers. So I'm going to be joined today by Ritu. Hello, Ritu.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And how are you doing today?
I'm very good. So I've been looking forward to it. So I am currently in India. So it's late Friday evening right now.
Whereabouts in India?
I'm in southern India, Bangalore.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So no complaints about the weather. It's very nice.
It's awesome. I wish I was joining you from there. I really do. Fantastic. I've not visited India. I would very much like to do so. Okay, well, if you're happy to, we can get started with some of the questions that are coming through about SEO.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Okay, so the very first question to come through was, can it help my SEO to add location service pages in the footer of my website? So let's say in the instance of a law firm, if I was in London, would it help me to put law firm in Brixton, law firm in Camden, and like 25 different variations linked from my footer? Is that helpful for SEO?
I think so. I have seen that in quite a lot of websites that they do add location pages, location keywords in the footer. So I think that definitely helps. How you have built the internal structure of your website, that makes a huge difference how Google is able to crawl your website and all the pages. So I would recommend adding those pages, and just make sure that those pages are not thin content pages. So if you have a page like law office in Brixton or law office in Stratford, whatever pages that you add, and if you're targeting those keywords, you just have to make sure that the content on the pages is not a thin content or is not duplicated. Just make sure that it's still good quality and relevant content.
Okay, so what would you classify as good quality content for a location page? What should a location page look like in your opinion?
A location page, in my opinion, should look like, so if any particular location in your service offers different services, then it should clearly define those services in those location pages, and maybe a little bit about the location itself. And if it's about if it's a location page about Stratford, so a little bit about the location, and a little bit about Stratford, and then address, and make sure that there is schema markup around the address, so Google is able to see that it's about Stratford particular location. And I normally recommend that it's about 600 words at least on that page. And then I would also link it to related locations if you have nearby location.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, what is schema, and what is the importance of it in SEO?
So schema markup, there has been a lot of discussion going out around schema markups, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. So I think it definitely works. In Google search, you may have seen featured snippets. So like if you enter a long tail search, any question, phrase, search term, usually Google picks the snippet from your page and then shows in the Google, and that normally comes above all the search results. So that can be possible with schema markup. Schema markup usually increases the probability of ranking as featured snippet. So that's why I don't want to leave anything unturned, because you actually sometimes don't know what's going to work and what's not. So I normally go with schema markups, because in my experience, I have seen that it really helps to rank for featured snippets.
I do like that principle of whatever I have to hand that can help influence my ranking, I'm going to want to use. It's like, okay, you're in an airplane cockpit and you've all these buttons in front of you. Just click as many as you possibly can and hope that the plane gets you where you go.
Yeah, because I feel that SEO is more like a black box, that you have to try so many things, and 10 things may work for one website and it may not work for the other website. So I think you have to try every possible thing. And schema markups is one of the things that I have seen working for every possible website that I have worked for.
I guess it's a question of making information as understandable for Google as
for
possible.
Google. Yeah.
But it's also important to make the content as accessible as possible for the people that are supposed to be using it too.
Yeah. And we are writing content for long tail, to target long tail keywords. And there are lots of schema markups that make that content easily understandable for Google. So why not use it if we have it at our disposal?
Absolutely. Okay, so the next question we've got here is, actually, just before we do continue, you've mentioned twice there something called long tail keywords. So perhaps explain what long tail keywords are and why they might be important to the people watching.
So long tail keywords are generally I'd normally classify them as informational content, informational keywords. So when people are searching anything more for information, so they may not be for lead generation, they may be for information. So that's why we write lots of blogs on the websites to provide more information, and also to tell Google that we are experts in our industry. So whatever business we are in, the blogs kind of tell Google and users that we are kind of experts in this industry. And so long tail keyword is like anything that has maybe more than 2-3 words in a phrase, that is normally classified as long tail for me. And they are generally information based keywords, and normally used for blog writing.
Okay, so let's pick one of the clients you're working on at the moment. So without naming any names, what's the industry they're working in?
So the recent one is a law firm.
Okay. So let's take a law firm. What's a short tail keyword that they should be focusing on without making it obvious who they are, and what would be a long tail keyword that they should be focusing on?
Okay. So the short tail keyword. So short tail keyword is their service page. Service page could be workers' compensation, could be one of the keywords. And then the long tail keyword could be, how can I claim workers' compensation?
Right.
So that could be long tail keyword. So for service, like if I have 2 types of pages on my website, one is service page and the other one is a blog. So service page, it will have all types of CTAs, call to action. So we will have lots of call to action on every service page, because we want user to convert. If they are landing on that page, we want them to convert. We want to get a lead from that user. So that service page will be focused on a short keyword, which is, let's say, workers' compensation. And the blog, if anyone is searching for what is workers' compensation or how can I claim my compensation as a worker, so that I'm probably going to write a blog about it, and then create an interlink from that blog to the service page. Because if somebody is searching for that information, they might be in a need for that service too.
Right. So you mentioned having a blog on the website there, which I think works with the next question that I saw that came up here, which is so the siloing strategy. So content silos. What's the best way to create silos in WordPress? And they love our book. So perhaps firstly, you could help explain what a content silo is, and then talk about how that might work in WordPress or for any website, because not everybody watching is on WordPress.
So to be honest, I haven't used the silos that much. I'm just thinking, because I haven't used silos in a while. I'm just thinking an example, like what's the best strategy for siloing.
Okay. Well, somewhere I can help out. I think what you're already discussing is content silos. So basically, you understand a subject area like workers' compensation. It breaks down into different areas. So if you think of like another way people talk about it is like a hub and spoke approach. So you have like the main center wheel, which is workers' compensation, and then you have offshoots of content like search queries, like that you discussed there, like how to claim workers' compensation, what is workers' compensation, how much can I expect to claim with workers' compensation, and so on. That's kind of like what you do on a daily basis, but I guess you might not refer to as a content hub, content silo, because the majority of what you're doing is actually the SEO side of things, and less so the actual writing itself. So perhaps you can explain how it works within Exposure Ninja when it comes to keyword research and how our content team help deliver that content silo.
So usually when we have to write a content for any website, it starts with the keyword research that kind of forms the basis for any content that we want to proceed with. So for every client, keyword research needs to be done. And with the keyword research, we try to get 3 to 4 keywords, focusing on per page. It's recommended not to, I recommend not to have more than 3 to 4 keywords per page, because it's not going to be possible to focus on one page more than 3 or 4 keywords. So once we have a defined keyword research and the targeted keywords that we want to focus on, then we work with the content team to produce content for service pages, and if we want to produce blogs, to target long tail keywords. And the content silos, I would say, we normally, when divide the keywords into categories and subcategories, that really helps to define the right content, especially for service page and the blog page. The tone is absolutely going to be different. For service page, the tone of the content is going to be different to compared to the content tone for the blog.
Okay. Hopefully that's helped the person who asked the question, whose name I've lost, unfortunately, to understand how we help create our content silos and how the process works between our two teams. I'm going to pick another question here. Just going through. So Omar, your question's been split up, so there's a second part as well. So I'll just briefly paraphrase the question. How many average visitors per month can someone expect when creating a bedding business? So within the first year, and they're saying when the keywords are optimized, how long do you reckon it might take for that business to start earning visitors? What's the general turnaround time between creating a site, optimizing it, and starting to earn that traffic?
So usually the strategy is for a quarter. So in a quarter, you can start to see visitors. So it's quite difficult to say how many average visitors you can get per month, because that depends on the keywords you're targeting, the search volume of those keywords that you are targeting. But every month we try to bring your traffic up by at least 20%. So that's the aim. But then there are too many external factors as well that can influence that, which could be Google algorithm updates, and other factors like for instance, this pandemic, COVID, is a big external factor that could influence the search and perhaps your the number of visitors as well. But then usually the strategy is built for a quarter, the SEO strategy. So in that strategy, we expect to get a good turnaround for the visitors.
Okay. I've got another question coming up here. There's one question, unfortunately, I can't answer. I don't believe either of us can, in terms of recommended courses for learning SEO. There are lots of courses you can do, which are freely available. You know, SEMrush has an academy course. There's Moz as well, but they're very much going to teach you the basics. A lot of these courses will just kind of do a lot more explanation than they will actually training you of how to optimize a website. So unfortunately, I can't really make any recommendations there, other than SEMrush is an academy. Moz is pretty reliable as well. All of our content, of course, you can get a copy of How to Get to the Top of Google. So go grab a copy of that. Because it's basically, this is built upon all of the campaigns that we've had successes with. And when I say had successes with, we're talking award-winning campaigns. After our winning the UK Search Awards last week, we're now an award-winning Exposure Ninja.
And I would also recommend reading lots of articles, because SEO changes quite fast. So it's really good to stay updated with Google guidelines or Google algorithm updates, because that can change your strategy a lot. So along with the course that you're doing, maybe on Udemy or any other website that you're doing, it's very important to stay updated with Google algorithm updates or read lots of articles. One of the best ways that I am able to stay updated is Google Alerts. I use that quite often. Google Alerts or Twitter, if you follow Google Updates on Twitter. And Google Alerts is very, very helpful.
So a couple of people that I tend to follow when it comes to keeping pace with changes in SEO. So one is Marie Haynes, who runs a consultancy in Canada, in the United States, who covers a lot of algorithm changes. It's good to follow. Glenn Gabe is a personal favorite, does a lot of analysis of algorithm changes. But yeah, as Ritu said, there are like so many places you can go, and setting up your own alert system is super handy.
Definitely, yeah.
Another place you can go is, I'm just going to share this on screen in just a moment, was created by Aleda Solis, who's an SEO consultant and specializing in, what's it called? In e-commerce SEO. So I'm just going to pop that on the screen now. So this is learning SEO. I'm just going to get all this stuff off the screen so you can actually see what's going on. Bear with. Tap. And let's just get rid of us as well. Right, cool. So this is learning SEO. It's basically a roadmap of free guides and tools. So it just explains, like, these are the basics you need to learn. And then the second step will be to learn how to execute an SEO process and how to learn and implement SEO within your CMS. So WordPress, Wix, Shopify, and so on. So there's quite a lot here. And it's just, I say just, but it's a library of content. So you can go into here and actually see all the pieces that Aleda's recommended. And they're from Google, they're from Moz, they're from Content King, who have a fantastic library of content. Ahrefs do some good content too. So you can find a lot here in like how to execute, how to specialize, and so on. So this is a good port of call to stop in. Even if you're a bit further down your SEO career, it's a good place to kind of refresh. It's a good place to just see what's changed as well. So, sometimes I like to kind of do a self-audit of my SEO knowledge, and there are like games you can play to test how good you are at SEO. There used to be a fantastic, what's it called? Keyword, a game you could play to test your SEO knowledge.
I've
I
never
can't remember what it's called. SEO game. I'll see if I can find it. It's not SEO game. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, well, I'll have a look for that whilst we answer some more questions. So let's pop that back up here, and let's see the next question in the list. So we have a question from Tony. Okay, so Tony says, would love to know how to avoid blog posts fighting with pillar content and cluster pages on the same topic for keyword traffic. So basically, how do you avoid pages from competing with each other? What's your recommendation there?
So that's a very common problem in SEO. It's called cannibalization. It's very, very difficult. So like what we spoke about long tail keywords and short keywords. So I use Google Search Console to resolve this problem. So Google Search Console comes in very handy. So if you have let's say blog page 1 and blog page 2, you have blog page 1 and service page. Blog page 1 is, let's say, about what is workers' compensation, and then the service page is about workers' compensation. And now, if anyone is searching for workers' compensation claim, you want your service page to rank. But however, Google is ranking your blog page. So I would use Google Search Console to find out what are the search queries that my blog page is ranking for, and what are the search queries that my service page is ranking for. And then accordingly, I will make the changes in the best places to optimize the page is H1 tag, title tag, and then whatever headings that you have, like the subheadings on your service page, make it more optimized. For example, just have a heading for worker compensation claim, and maybe try to use the synonyms in your blog page. So you can try to shift you can try to shift the focus for that target keyword towards your service page. But yes, Google Search Console does the job, and it's very handy when it comes to cannibalization issue.
I'm a big fan of using Google Search Console. And one tool that I use on top of the Search Console is a tool called Big Metrics, and I'll see if I can share Big Metrics. I found the website. I haven't used it in a little while because my role as head of marketing means I do less and less SEO stuff on a day-to-day. But there's this tool called bigmetrics.io, and it essentially takes the Google Search Console data that you're getting and turns it into actionable insights. So there's even a report within that tool which tells you which of your keywords are becoming, or your pages are becoming cannibalized. So if you are finding that you have like cannibalization issues, or you think you might do, or you're just not even sure, this will just automatically do it for you. So in the past, I found that we've had like more than one blog post about page titles and descriptions or metadata, and saw that there was some cannibalization there. So decided to actually combine those two blog posts into a singular blog post and actually do way better in terms of like ranking and search traffic through that piece. So this it's not an expensive tool if I remember correctly, but I'll drop the link into the chat just now. And don't forget, if you haven't already used the hashtag ask in the chat, in the live chat here on YouTube, you can enter yourself into a prize draw for our book, How to Get to the Top of Google, which I'll do a prize draw for at the very end. But I'm just going to drop that link into the live chat. And I also found the game that I was talking about as well. So let's share that too. So stop sharing. I'll share my screen. I'll share. Share window. Right, cool. So this is the SEO Challenge. I'm just going to add it on now. There we go. So this is the SEO Challenge V1. Basically, this will test your expertise when it comes to SEO. So there's no clickable button or anything here, but there's obviously a next page. There's a next step. It's kind of like a maze. You have to find the clues. So you can look around here. There's nothing. You might be able to select Control A and find all the words on the page, or you might look at the source code and see if you can find any clues in here. But yeah, like the person who created this says, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see in this. So where's the clue? Well, first place, if you know your SEO, might be to check the robots.txt page. And what do you know? When you get there, level 1 clue A: the spaces between words have been removed, no hyphens. So there are like loads and loads of challenges in this. So I find this as a really fun way of testing your SEO knowledge. So there's another game similar to this, which I think is even better, but don't tell the person who made this website because it's also great.
What's this website, Dave?
I'm going to drop it. I'll drop a link into the chat for everyone to see as well. So if you're following us in the live chat, you'll be able to see that too. But I really love this. It's a lot of fun. You can see all the names of the people that have completed it over the years. Level 1, the people who completed it first. Is my name in there? No, I'm so embarrassed. Okay, well, let's close that and forget I ever mentioned it. So that's a really fun way of testing your SEO knowledge. If as I said, you can go back and look through the Learning SEO page, and even as like a refresh of knowledge. I've been doing SEO since 2014, 15, and even I need a refresher. So it's a good place to go. Right, on to the next question. Questions about okay. The question is, so they have a question about iframe. So they have iframes on almost every page. Can they impact the SEO of that website?
Yes, they do impact the SEO. I normally don't recommend adding iframe. Again, it's debatable, but whatever, as per my experience and whatever I have seen on the websites, and as per my knowledge, it's Google cannot read the content in the iframe. So I mean, I would not put any content in the iframe that I want Google to, that is for SEO purpose, and I want Google to basically read it and rank me for that content. So I wouldn't put anything in that iframe, because it's like whatever is within that iframe, Google will not be able to see it and rank me for that content. So yes, if possible, I would not use iframes.
Okay. Whilst you've been explaining that incredibly well, I found the other game that I was talking about. So let me just get rid of that. So this is another technical SEO puzzle. So there are 20 hidden keywords. Can you find them? So basically the keyword takes you to the next page, and we'll basically tick off all of these things. So when you hover over them, they should have, or sorry, you click them, it should have a clue. So inspect this. So for example, if I was to inspect this using Chrome DevTools, would bring this up, it might give me the clue, which might be there or whatever, or cookies, or for example, X robots, which the clue for number, which one is this? Number 7 is X robots, which you can find by using a tool like this. And look at the X robots, which is here. So in-flight is the keyword. So if I then go to in-flight, that didn't work. Well, that's embarrassing. But yeah, you just do various things here. What was another one? There's a really cool one. I don't want to give too many clues away, but you can do things like you have to inspect the redirect and how it works. Or if you try to, so one clue here, if I can find the clue over here, is the padlock. So number 15 is the padlock. If you try and visit the website without the secure bit, so HTTP without the S, and do that, you'll then get a redirect. So let me just close DevTools. So just open this. And then it says that it was doing a multiple step redirect and that it went through Lightning to get here. So if I go to Lightning, did that work? If it works, it should basically tick off that, should tick off the number. It didn't work. Come on. Maybe I haven't got cookies set up or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is another really, really fun game if you want to test your SEO knowledge. Like if I go to robots.txt, museum. Let's try museum. Okay, tried that one. Oh, okay. This website's not working. that's what I'm saying. Let's check that. None of them are working. Okay, but that's a fun game. If you have an opportunity to play it and it works, it's a lot of fun. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Where were we with the questions?
I think iframe was the last one.
I was. Cool. Let's remove that and pop you over here. So the question is, I have a page that is ranking at the bottom of page 1. I want to try and move it up the rankings. Should I add content to the page itself or supplement the page with blogs or sub-pages about X page? Which is the right move in your opinion?
So I would look at Google Search Console to see what that page is ranking for currently, what kind of search queries it's currently ranking for, and also if that keyword that you're trying to improve your ranking for, what is Google ranking? What are the kind of pages that Google is ranking? Are they more blogs or are they service pages? That will give you an indication whether I should write a blog to support that page itself, or whether Google will find a blog piece more relevant for that page. So I'll give you an example of the recent client work. So for one of the keywords, I was trying very hard that Google should rank my service page. But for some reason, Google was preferring the home page. And then I noticed that for all the other competitors that were ranking for that particular keywords, it was a home page. For some reason, Google preferred and thought that homepage is the most relevant page for that particular keyword. So, and that page was also ranking at the bottom of the page. So after doing a couple of experiments, what I did was improvise the meta title of that page and use the exact match keyword in the meta title. And then the ranking started improving. So I think it involves analysis, looking at what kind of pages Google is preferring for that keyword, and then making a decision would help to take the next step.
There's something you mentioned there about changing the page title or the description,
Yeah.
just the meta on the whole, and seeing a ranking change.
Yeah.
Now, Google will tell you that changing the page title and description will not bring about a ranking change. But I think like throughout our agency, all the SEOs can say that they've definitely seen ranking changes after changing the metadata.
Definitely. This thing I have seen with Google in quite a few things, that Google says one thing but does something else. That Google may say that meta description doesn't make any difference, but I think it does. Definitely, it can help to improve your click-through rate. Definitely. So it has to be very enticing. And I think page title is one of the most important element of on-page SEO. So you can do a lot of experiments with page title. Like I have myself done a lot of experiments to help your website stand out in the Google search results. Because if there is one keyword and million of websites are competing for it, they all will try to include that keyword in their page title. So I have done a couple of experiments, like for example, one experiment was adding inventory in the title tag. So for example, websites like a booking.com. So if you can insert inventory available for the accommodations, let's say in a particular area, that will entice users to click on it, and that can help to stand out.
Now, I do have a question here about link building, which it's one of those subjects I find covers both areas of SEO, content marketing, or
Content,
SEO and
yeah.
digital PR. Would you like to field this question on the link building? So it's sorry, where have I just lost it? Of course, I have lost it. I scrolled. Oh dear. There we go. So this was from Tortoise Properties, a regular. So in a link building campaign, how would you overcome a competitor who has a higher domain age and authority?
So higher domain age and authority. I would also look at their number of backlinks and referring domains that they have. So we normally do a competitor analysis, in which we, let's say, we compare the client's website with, let's say, 10 competitors, and then we look at their backlink profile, which is kind of very important. It's not always about the number of backlinks, but the quality of backlinks, like the domain authority and how relevant they are, those backlinks. So I would try to gain potential backlinks from the websites that my competitor has links from, or maybe find some similar or better websites. So again, an example from a recent client work. So when I was doing the competitor analysis, I noticed that the competitors are targeting a lot of podcast websites, and then I noticed that the podcast websites, they don't have very high domain authority, but they are very relevant to my clients' work, and there are lots of podcast websites available that my client could benefit from. So that would give you an indication how you should define your backlink profile, or how you should define your strategy for link building.
Okay. I'm going to move back to metadata again, because it's a popular topic. I've got a couple of questions here when it comes to metadata.
Sure.
So the question I've got here is, can meta descriptions be similar to each other, so across multiple pages, but not identical? So let's say out of 150 characters or so, the first 3 to 7 words are unique, but the rest of it is identical. Is that a safe option, or do they have to be unique?
So if they are not exact duplicate, then if you run your website, like if you crawl your website in any tool like Screaming Frog, yes, your website may not come as those pages may not come as duplicate pages, but then you have to assess the click-through rate for those pages. I mean, there is no set rule that your meta description has to be different from rest of the pages by X number of words. It all depends on what output you're expecting, what results you're expecting. So you want better click-through rate. That's the purpose of a meta description. So that's what I want, a better click-through rate. So again, I would go back to Google Search Console and review my click-through rate and see how I can improve my click-through rate. If that can be done by just changing 3 to 4 words, I would do that.
Absolutely. I find, as you said before, like Google Search Console is a great tool for aiding your content creation, your content improvement.
It's an amazing
but the same
tool.
with your metadata too. You know, you can find which search queries people are using to find that page, and then use those, say, update your metadata to include those same queries. So,
and one of the things, like one of the not trick, but one of the things that I normally use, like that can give you a quick win. So I sort my pages in Google Search Console by ranking. In the descending order, so large to small, and then find the pages and then the search queries, what they are ranking for, because I can see the potential that these pages have already for these search queries, because they are showing up. But I want to improve the visibility for those pages. So if I can find the pages that are already ranking in, let's say, top 20 positions, then by optimizing those pages, I can improve the visibility for those pages and rank.
it's a great tool. I really, honestly, sometimes it's amazing that it's free.
It is free. Yeah, it has lot of data, and you can even get the full benefit of Google Search Console if you connect it to your Google Data Studio. So you can get the full benefit, because there are a lot of restrictions if you're just using Google Search Console. Like it will only show you 1,000 search queries, not more than that. But yeah, it's a great tool.
Absolutely. So we got a question here from Laird, who was saying that you mentioned about having like 3 to 4 keywords or keyword phrases per article. This is a subject that I know divides SEOs, but how many words in the article would you recommend for success? Are we saying there's a minimum, or are we saying that whatever answers the query best? What do you feel is the best?
So for service pages, normally 600 words is the minimum, because you would have other contents as well, like other sections on the service page, like related services or about the company. You will have that section as well. But about the service itself, I would recommend having at least 600 words or more than 600 words. But on a blog page, it's normally recommended word count is at least 1,000. There has been, I think there has been a survey as well on one of the websites. I can't remember, but they compared number of words with the ranking. Number of words with the visibility. That if you increase the word count, you can improve your visibility, because you increase your chances of ranking for more keyword, like you increase the keyword spectrum that you can rank for. So like 1,000, 1,200 is the absolute minimum I think that we should go for. But I've also seen, like going back to one of the recent client work, like the client that I'm working for, their service page has 400 words. But the other competitors that I was comparing my website to, they have about 1,400, 1,500 on the service page. But that may not work on the service page, because that could increase your bounce rate. That means you just go onto the page and then leave the page immediately, which we don't want. So we want a kind of balance. We just don't want to stuff the page with the content. So I think the right balance would be good.
Absolutely. So thinking from like a wider marketer's point of view rather than like just in SEO, which is hard to do after having been like an SEO person for such a long time. But like your service page has to be a sales letter as well. Like it has to be like a pitch. So sometimes it might be a disadvantage to have like 600 words, 700 words, 800
Yeah,
words. You might have a better conversion rate by dropping it down.
exactly.
But I'm sure that's probably what you're going to mention, was that it's easier to rank a page when it only has like 400 words, 500 words or less, if you've built up some strong, a strong domain, if you've got a strong brand.
Yeah.
So you can offset that word count by having a very strong brand, and that stuff takes a while.
Yeah, exactly. For example, if you see any domain like, for example, Amazon, if Amazon has a page, they don't need to write 1,000 words because they have a very strong domain authority. So whatever they will publish, it will get, first of all, crawled quite easily in Google. It will get indexed in Google very easily. So yes, that's right. Yeah, I missed that point. So domain age and the domain authority definitely makes a difference.
Yeah. So I've got a question here about, should page titles and H1s or heading tags, the first heading, be the same or not?
I don't think so, because again, page title and H1s should be different. Because page title, page title is something that you will see in Google search results. So that should be written from that perspective, and heading H1s is something that you will see on the page. They might be both targeted to the same keyword, but if there's an opportunity to target, let's say, 2 related keywords, I would use page titles and H1s. But yeah, I would not keep them same.
Related to that, so something that people use for page titles or handling page titles, is a question from Phil. What do you think of Yoast as an SEO tool for blog posts? Good, bad, or is there a better tool?
It's a very good tool. So for every WordPress website, I think Yoast is one of the first tools that is downloaded. So it's a very handy tool. It just makes your it makes the updating metadata quite easy, creating XML sitemaps, robots.txt. I mean, it makes things a lot easy. And with the blog post as well, it also gives you it tells you if your page title is getting too long or too short, which is very handy. Because because when you're writing, you may not realize that it is getting very long, and every time you don't count the number of words. So I think Yoast, yes, Yoast is a wonderful tool.
Are there any alternatives still that you've used previously?
I think there is one something called Rank
Math, I think, is the only thing.
Rank Math, yeah, Rank Math. That's the one I have used. That's an alternative, but I would still prefer Yoast. I think the UX of Yoast tool is very easy to understand.
Yeah, very friendly.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I started, there was another one called All-in-One SEO. I'm not even sure if it's still around anymore. Is it still around?
It is still around, but I haven't used it, and I haven't seen on any website recently.
A lot of the time when we get like client sites come through to us, it's a case of, all-in-one. Okay, we'll just change that over immediately, just for a better tool. So another question, this one's about, I'm just going to answer this one. Where can I find your book? Well, you can either use the hashtag ask, which you've already done, to put yourself in for the prize draw to win a copy of How to Get to the Top of Google. So you can use that hashtag there. We've still got 8 entries, and there are way more than 8 people here. So first of all, use the hashtag ask. Even if you already have the book, why not put yourself in the mix? Get yourself a second copy to give to a loved one this coming Christmas. Or you can, seeing 26 people also reminds me that there are not 26 likes on this video yet. So please do hit like down below, whether you're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you are, and show your appreciation for Ritu and her fantastic answering of these questions so far. The next question, however, for Ritu, it's coming from Balanced Coffee, and I would love another coffee. I finished mine. So branching off from the comments about silos and hubs, how would you approach the skyscraping technique? Is it as simple as long article plus different mediums like video or infographics? So two sections. This question. First off, if you could help explain what the skyscraper technique is for people who are watching who've never heard of it before, and how it kind of works. Is it just longer article? Or, what's your opinion there?
I'm afraid I'm not aware of skyscraping technique. Maybe I don't know the name itself, but if you can explain skyscraping technique.
Sure. Okay. This is another one of those things where it's like it's a split between SEO and content marketing, where the content marketer does the majority of the writing and the SEO influences what the content is about. The skyscraper technique is kind of, I want to say pioneered by Brian Dean of backlinko.com, but I learned from Brian Dean when I was starting off in 2014, 2015. So he may have just stolen the idea from someone else. I don't know. It probably was around for ages before. But his technique, the skyscraper technique, is essentially you go and look at the search results for your term, which might be law firm in Brixton, and you look at the top 10 results, and then you open all of those, and you basically take all of the content from those pages, or the areas or topics that they cover, compile them into one longer piece that covers everything, and you publish that on your website. So, it's essentially the word count of the first result might be 500, the word count of the next one might be 500, and all those might be 500. Your piece, having taken all the best bits of all of those top 10 results, will come out at 1,500, for example. A longer piece, more, what's the word? All-encompassing, has all of the answers to every possible query, and that's basically the skyscraper technique. You just compile everybody else's good stuff into your own stuff, which is what we do at Exposure Ninja. Again, the content marketing team for us do all of that writing. So Ritu would have given the team the keyword focuses, and then the team would have actually carried out that thing.
So as long as if we are taking like the best pieces or the best content pieces from the other publishers, then as long as we can have we have to be cautious of the duplication percentage, like how duplicate our content is from if we have taken the content from other publishers. I think one thing that I'm just thinking of is the duplication percentage that we need to be wary of, because if the content is duplicated, first of all, Google will not like it, and you may penalize as well for duplicating the content. But I think we should still write something that is not already available. It's still worth the effort of doing all the research and doing the gap analysis is something that I normally do when I'm doing the keyword research. So let's say I've got 5 competitors. I will try to find, especially for blog topic research. If I have got 5 competitors, I will try to find the niche topics that my competitors are writing, but I'm not ranking for those things at all, and vice versa. So that ways I can put together a good list of articles which has demand and there is not much content available. So that ways I can increase the chances of my content getting ranked. I hope I'd answered that question.
Totally. As I said, it's a technique that we use a lot at Exposure Ninja. I know, like Jess, who's in our marketing team, uses it quite a lot. Been using it recently to write some of our best blog pieces this year. So if you want to see how the results of the skyscraper technique, anybody watching now, go to exposureninja.com/blog, and the last few pieces by Jess are super. They're a really good example of how that works. Cool. So we've got another question. This is quite a broad question because no two websites are the same. No CMS is really the same either.
Yeah.
But how to improve websites' performance scientifically?
So website performance, again, just to start with, it's important to understand where your website is lacking. So first, I would analyze tools like Google Analytics and Google Search Console to find out where are the errors, and I'll try to do the proper audit, where the traffic is coming from, where is the potential, where are the quick wins, and then I will do like a proper audit for the website to improve the on-page elements of the website. How I can improve my service pages or my blogs, and then I would go through the Google Search Console to see if there are any errors. There's a coverage section in Google Search Console that tells you if there are any errors on your website, and you'll be surprised that you may come across some really good quick wins that if you fix immediately, you can see some really good results. And so that's how I will start, and that will give you a direction what you should do next.
Okay, which other kind of tools do you use for website auditing?
So website audit, I think the best tool, like one of the best tool is is Screaming Frog. So it's available for free as well. You just download the tool, and I think in free there is a limit that it crawls the number of pages, limits the number of pages that it crawls. But it's a very good tool. The interface is brilliant. It gives you, it tells you how many which pages have the issue and what pages can be improved. I think the only thing I would like to add into Screaming Frog is that if you are not an SEO, it's quite difficult to know where to start from, like what you should start from. There are so many issues listed out, but you don't know how to prioritize it. I think that's something that they can add. So like what you should start from.
There are a couple of tools that will do that for you. I don't know why the name escapes me right now, but I just included a link in the chat. So if you want to try Screaming Frog, you can. Just go to screamingfrog.co.uk/SEO Spider, SEO Spider. But there's another tool which I can't show you on the screen because I'm not using my computer because I'm in Italy and mine is too big and heavy to carry with me. So I'm just looking for the other one that I normally use, which is superbly useful. Why can I not remember the name? that's so frustrating. What's it called? What's it called?
Is it offline tool? Is it desktop based?
It's a desktop tool, yeah. Sitebulb, haha, found it. Thank goodness for that.
Skyful, yeah. That's another one.
Sitebulb, here we go. Right, so Sitebulb is probably, in my opinion, the most user-friendly SEO spider or SEO crawler that you can find. I love that at the moment they've got this thing of if you try Sitebulb for free, they'll plant a tree, which I think is just superb, especially when the amount of energy is used for site crawling is actually incredibly high. So I think that's actually a really powerful message. But it's actually just like super friendly to use. I don't know if I can show it here. Here we go. So prioritize SEO issues. So it tells you how critical an issue is. So if it's like a real big problem you need to fix immediately, or if it's a medium-sized issue, sorry, let me get rid of that, or if it's a low priority issue. So if you are really not familiar with how SEO works, but you want to know what's wrong with your website and where to start and priority order, that's a great way to do it. But as Ritu was mentioning, there are tools like Sitebulb, which then give you like these hints or explain what the actual problem is. So, indexability, so how well a page can be indexed, or if it can be added to Google's index at all. This will tell you this is a high priority, just to make sure that this is big enough, because it just gets smaller and smaller. Oh dear, let's get back to that. Okay, that's a bit better. So this is a high priority. The URL contains a form with a get method. That's complicated. But that's essentially a high priority issue. That's something you want to get fixed. And this then explains what the actual issue is. So there's an explainer, and then you links out here to learn more about what the hint, what this particular hint is, and how to actually investigate and get it fixed. So even if you are not familiar with how websites work, you're not a developer, which the majority of people who do SEO really aren't. unless they're a technical SEO, of course, is that you're able to link to this or show this to your web developer, who'll be able to then investigate the issue further. So if you're looking at a website, you're not really sure. If you're looking at Screaming Frog, for example, which I agree with Ritu is like the most powerful tool you can probably get for site auditing, has a kind of a steep learning curve. This is actually like a great starting point for getting familiar with the issues, and then down the line you can use Screaming Frog. Again, I love Screaming Frog, but I would certainly agree that it's not the starting point. So I'll link to Siteball. I don't have an affiliate thing or anything like that. We don't really have many affiliate things on the go, but this is like another tool that I would highly recommend that people give a try to. Fantastic. Oh, I just realized we're a minute over. Well, in that case, I'm going to just quickly do the prize draw for the book, How to Get to the Top of Google. So bear with me a second. We're going to do, oh my goodness, I'm very close to the camera. There we go. How to Get to the Top of Google. If you want to win a copy of said book, all you have to do is just use the hashtag ask. I'll give you the next 15 seconds to do so, during which time I will say thank you very much to Ritu for coming along and answering all of your questions. You've been superb. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
You have plans this weekend?
Yeah. No, nothing yet.
Just relaxing.
Yeah, just relaxing.
I like the sound of that. Fantastic. Let's hit draw on this, and if we do happen to accidentally pick an Exposure Ninja, we'll do a draw again. Or if I'm sure that I sent you a book already, I will. Hey, yeah. I don't think you won. Did you win last week? Who knows? I don't think so. But if you're still here, fantastic. I'll send you a copy. All you have to do is use my email address, Dale@exposureninja.com. Send me your address and a phone number so I can do a confirmation that your book is on the way. But otherwise, thank you everyone very much for coming along. Thanks for joining the chat. Thank you for hitting like. If you haven't already, make sure you do before you leave. And if you aren't subscribed already, do hit that big red button that says subscribe, as well as hit the bell too, so you get notified about our next live stream, which is next Friday. Well, it'll still be in Italy on a dodgy connection, but it'll still be just as great as this one with Ritu. But otherwise, yeah, fantastic. Great to see you all. See you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.